So we're here with some of our senior team, and we're going to look at a question today, which is a sort of playful question, I think, and it's how would somebody become the agency's most important client? You want to become the priority for the agency. How do you do that? I suppose, is it a playful question or is it a serious question? Where should we go? Phil.
Yeah, I mean, you can't force that, can you? You know, it's got to be. If you're going to be the most important client, it's got to be right from the start, hasn't it? And I think if I think back to when I was on the other side of things, when I was looking for the right agencies, I remember getting it wrong a few times.
Yeah.
I think there was a point where we were really ambitious as a business, and we were getting slightly ahead of ourselves, and we employed this big agency in a big tower block in Manchester. Really glamorous. It was all exciting, but they just weren't matched, and we were never going to be matched.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, and you know, we were small, they were big. We were never going to be a priority. The goals were never going to be aligned, and ultimately, it wasn't. We got it wrong from the start, I guess.
Yeah, and we should say we don't have a priority of clients, and most agencies would say that, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But I think we know that in some agencies there is clients where it's actually, do you know what, I just don't think we're matched. It's never, whatever, there's always a tension there. And perhaps we've got around that with a clarity on who we want to work with and who we don't want to work with, and communicating it quite easily. But yeah, how as a client do you avoid being in that dynamic then where you're with an agency and it's...
Well, you've got to find someone that you've matched with right from the beginning, isn't it? Because
Right.
you're always going to feel like you're not the priority if you pick an agency who doesn't have experience in your sector, who doesn't work with your size of business usually, who might not have the offering that you need. So you're never going to feel like the priority if you pick an agency just because they might look good or because you've heard that they've worked really well for somebody else. You've got to look at what works for your own company, don't you? I mean, on the flip side of that, I've worked for agencies where they don't know what their ideal customer is. So they'll just take anybody on, and all of those clients are going to feel like they're not a priority then because the agency is stretched too thin. Yeah. So you're doing lots of bits of tactics, just trying to, tick off timesheets. And how are you going to make anybody feel like a priority then?
Yeah, and actually, if we're completely honest, and I think back over many, many years, there was a point where we didn't know who we should work with. We know now, obviously, we would say B2B client, and there's a certain size we work with, isn't there? And there's some things about the characteristics of how they work. We turn people away if they don't actually match that. But there was a point we had people we couldn't understand why it's not working, and we were just all a bit confused, frustrated, and actually we just need to say, look, you're better with these. Look, they're really matched to you. They only work with your people. You go and work with them and let someone else have your slot.
Yeah.
Who's really well matched.
Yeah. And I suppose that still happens because we can get to a point with a client where we've given all the value that we could for them, and it becomes naturally time to part ways. And that's not a bad thing because organically we try and get our clients to the point where they don't need us anymore and where they're not matched, and they might then need to go somewhere else to get more value because we've done as much as we could for them, and it's up to us to go to them with that and suggest that it's our responsibility as the agency to always go to the client with that and say, look, hey, we're thinking we might be unmatched. What's your thoughts on this? How are you feeling?
I think that's a good point, actually, Lauren. There's a responsibility on us as the agency to, whatever the issue is or the rumble or whatever that is to take it to them, not to politely carry on and just do the work and let things fester. It's, if there's something that needs addressing, let's out it. Let's get that on the table in a positive way, and the outcome's often better.
Yeah. That's I see that in your role, Laura, with the projects.
I think likewise for the client as well, though, if they're feeling like it's not quite working, I would encourage them to be honest about it, have that conversation. It might be a little bit difficult, but it's not working for both sides at that point, so somebody needs to bring it up. So it's a responsibility on the agency to bring that forward if they feel it, but it's also on the client to to have that difficult conversation, say something's not quite right for us, there might be an agency out there that's better matched
Yeah.
to what we need.
Yeah.
So it's recognising that there's something not quite right,
Yeah.
having an honest conversation about it. It might not be that you're unmatched, it might just be that there's a difference of communication styles, or there's some sort of roadblock that is getting in the way of a progressive relationship. But it might just be as simple as, we're not matched, there's a better agency out there for you.
I think it's worth saying as well that if you address, the sooner you address that, you know, in most situations like this, you get back on track and everything's fine.
Yeah.
I think if you allow that to persist over a longer period and not tackle it, that's when, you know, you get a more fundamental issue.
Yeah.
But very often this issue can be addressed and you can get where you need to be. Getting where you need to be might be saying, listen, you know, we've had a good run of 5 years, and it's time to work with somebody else.
Yeah.
Or it might be we pivot the strategy and we're off again for another 3, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just that shift in strategy sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, it might just be, you know, swapping a tactic out. It might just be that time. So.
Or resetting, you know, or resetting what the actual objective is that the company's trying to achieve.
Yeah.
They may have moved more to, they may have launched a new brand, they may need to create awareness for that brand, and we're still super focused on lead generation.
Yeah.
So it's just being clear on that goal for them.
That's a good point, because if the business objectives change, then the marketing strategy should change to be in line with that. And sometimes we're not aware of if their business strategy has changed, but there are telltale signs, so we should be able to have that conversation and go, has something changed that we should know about, that we can help you with?
Yeah, it can be like it can even be just a new person coming in, can't it?
Yeah.
Like a new senior marketer
yeah.
can really
Yeah.
sort of throw that, it can start to feel unmatched. It's not, it's just they've started some new initiative and not communicated it really, and
Yeah.
they're getting a bit frustrated. And
That's a
maybe
good
we
point. That's probably one of the more common ones, actually, Steve. You know, when our main point of contact, the person who's been invested in the
Yeah.
relationship with us over a long period, perhaps they leave and somebody replaces them. It may be somebody takes on that responsibility who's not even marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, then there is a mismatch, and then it needs a reset.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few of our clients that are growing, and they are constantly having new hires, and they come with new ideas, and it can be quite challenging as an agency, that, because they might bring ideas that we've already tested in the past, but they want to retry them, and then that's the sort of friction that can make things feel unmatched, because it feels like we can be taking a step backwards.
Yeah.
But you know, we can very quickly get together with that with new staff and talk them through everything, so that they're quickly up to speed, and then we can get everything back on track. But I mean, we try and keep everything as streamlined as possible with the contacts that we have.
Yeah.
But for the client side, they want everybody to be in touch with the agency. If it's a good relationship, they're like, oh, talk to Bespoke, or talk, you know. So
I'm spotting a theme in what everybody's saying here. I mean, we've come here to give individual sort of angles and stories on this question, you know, about how do you become a priority. But there's something in everything which is just a candour, isn't it? And it's a transparency.
yeah,
It seems like if there is that, then either you go one way or the other, you realign, you recenter, and you go for it with a new strategy, or you can be open enough to say, we need to spend 6 months untangling here and
yeah.
let someone else take your slot.
Yeah.
So is that something we do we have that with?
Yeah.
We
Is
do.
it, or is it different? We've all worked in different places, haven't we? How does it compare with?
I think it's, like you say, it's just having the ability to recognise that there's something, not letting things drift, and
Right.
being able to have that honest conversation. Almost let's not be polite about it. Let's have an honest conversation.
We
Yeah.
can be polite about
We
it.
can be polite
Yeah.
about it. But people sometimes teeter around because they're being polite, but actually then you just need to have a
To
conversation.
grasp the nettle, don't we?
Exactly.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
And some people fear bad results,
Yeah.
but to me, that's an opportunity for change, for
Yeah.
growth, for an open conversation.
Yeah.
And I do think, from my experience, this is one of the most transparent places that I've worked, and it's actually refreshing because you're able to get better outcomes for the client, and you're more confident with what you're telling them, and you can say things with conviction and say, right, let's move on from here. Where
Yeah.
can we change things? You know, it might be getting to the point where we aren't the best value for money for them anymore.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But being able to just say, actually, we can see your ROI is declining.
Yeah. We know why.
Yeah. Yeah, and saying
It's
we
just
know
unmatched.
why. Yeah.
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 And I think all these points come from that confidence of having been around a long time, being really clear on who we're best matched with, the service that we offer, and then the confidence to have these, let's say, candid conversations.
Yeah.
Because we've got that proven track record of who we are matched with, so we know that who we can work for and who we can get value for and bring success. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's key that we keep that at the forefront when we're taking clients on,
Yeah.
whether they're matched or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to pull it together, and this question, how do I become the priority for my agency? Is that actually the question?
No.
Is that something's
No.
wrong if
Yeah.
No.
if I'm trying to become that, isn't it? It's,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
if it feels like there is a hierarchy of some sort,
Yeah.
something's broken then, isn't it?
If it feels
inherently
like
wrong,
yeah,
yeah.
if it feels like
Yeah.
that, then it's a sure sign that you're with an agency that isn't matched to you. So you just need to go back and check that.
Yeah.
Do they have experience in my sector? Are they used to working with businesses like mine? There's a checklist that you can quickly do just to see
Yeah.
and get that fit.
And it's about getting it right from the start, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going
Yeah.
through the right processes, finding that best match at the beginning, and then ultimately, if things do change over time, and it does, the relationship does become unmatched, is dealing with it
Yeah.
openly and transparently.
Yeah, and we're not afraid to say to people and recommend people to other agencies when they do become unmatched with us. Yeah.
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 Great, thank you guys. I didn't think I would be the one that was learning. It was really good. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, okay, so more on our YouTube channel, and any questions, get in touch.